Hello there. We're back.
Hi.
Hello.
What a surprise. Just as we said that we would be back, we are back at the end of the month or beginning of the next month. I know when this is going on, it will. And we have our crew, which means we have the lovely Katie. Hello.
Hang on.
I'm sorry.
To be doing my
I don't know. I'm so used to watching now that
I was going to say you've been doing too much couch.
I'm in couch mode.
Let me do my part.
Do your part. Go on.
She says, and immediately, how do I start this?
Hi, my name is.
Welcome to All the Films We Judged Before. I'm Katie. That's Lily Kay, and we have Brian with us this week.
Hey.
I got there. I just had a momentary lapse in memory. My memory has been fucked recently.
This is going really well already.
It's a great start.
I have not been sleeping great recently.
Oh no.
Same.
Please forgive me.
I highly recommend
Welcome
valerian root. Valerian root is great it's a natural herb you can get in boots. Really
Or just hit the
trouble
wall
is
really
that
hard.
Okay. My trouble isn't that I'm not sleeping, it's that my sleep hasn't been very good quality.
I see.
So I have been getting sleep. It's just been not great sleep.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I'm not transitioning between sleep stages very well at the moment. For whatever reason. That's not important, but this is a film and TV podcast. We do not need to be talking about my sleep habits right now.
We could do.
Why
We
not?
could do the whole podcast about that if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I would, but I don't think anybody's going to care.
They might learn something about themselves in the process.
Maybe.
Just because I have a real hyperfixation on the concept of sleep health doesn't mean that anybody listening to our film and TV podcast is going to care about it as well.
That's very fair.
You never know. You never know. Anyway, we're back. As you may know at this point, we only did it once, but this is the second time we are doing monthly check-ins, I guess. Let's call it that. So it's there's a little less of us, but we're still here. We're still doing things. Life got busy. What can I say? Anyway, we're going to talk about, a little bit of news, a little bit of what have we been watching, and it's just going to be a big catch up on things that's been going on in around the movie world. I mean, to be fair, I want to start with the fact that we are getting into the months that are always the most exciting when it comes to cinema. So my very first question is what are you two most excited about to potentially watch in the cinema during this early summer vibe time, because there are a lot of things coming out very soon. So Brian, we're gonna start with you.
Yeah, I'm completely lapsing on the director's name, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Weapons. It's the same director who did Barbarians.
Right. The trailer just came out today, and everybody's very excited about it.
The teaser is what caught my eye. I saw Sinners the other day, about 3 days ago, and it was the about 46 seconds of a teaser for Weapons, and it was one of the most effective, not revealing, and creepy teasers I think I've ever seen for any movie. I watched a little bit of the trailer today, but I didn't want to spoil too much for myself. I know it's not really spoiling a lot, but still, I kind of want to go in more.
From what I've heard, that trailer did not give anything away.
Cool. Okay.
I've not watched it specifically, but I know that people are very excited. But the response to it I've seen is a lot of people trying to still figure out what the movie's actually about, because from what I can tell, nobody really knows still.
That's neat.
Especially it doesn't seem like anybody understands why the title is Weapons at the moment.
Yeah,
that's fun.
It is fun. No, it's really fun. It's a very intriguing title, and the whole concept is interesting, because I know he talked about being like the kids. I don't know for people who have seen, this is not a spoiler. This is just the premise, the very, very, very basic premise without knowing anything else. But 17 kids go missing one night. They never come back, and apparently the director, again, I need to look up his name. If anyone can find that for me while I'm talking. But that's okay if you don't. But he talked about how that is that has a part to play within the movie, but that's not the entire plot. which is very interesting to me. So it probably implies it's going to go into different directions, which is exciting for me. And I really like Barbarians.
Zach?
It's one of my favorite horror movies. So
Zach Kreger.
Zach Kreger, thank you very much.
Yes, the thing I've been seeing is that it got into such a like heated not debate, that's not what I'm looking for, bidding war when it premiered at one of the film festivals a couple of years ago. Lots of people were very, very annoyed that they did not manage to get their hands on it, and it's like a lot of buzz around it being one of the best like scripts that has been heard about,
That's
like read
exciting.
in a while. So that is exciting.
Brilliant. Yeah. So that's like the main one I'm looking forward to. On my part. Oh, sorry, Lily. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I thought that this guy directed the Companion as well, but it's not here.
Clearly not then.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Companion.
Well, if it's not,
Did he produce
it's
it?
not fair.
No. Oh yeah, he did.
Well, now I'm.
Okay, that makes sense. Then who am I mixing it up with? What the fuck?
Steve Buscemi.
That,
Yeah.
no, that's just annoying now. Wait, but who's the director of that? Drew Hancock.
Is it? Oh, is it?
Will you come back? You're so far away.
From the microphone.
sorry.
Yeah, is that the guy who did?
No,
John
it's- I don't know.
Wick's? Okay.
Yeah.
No. Katie?
Yeah, I think it's important to note that this is specifically like blockbuster season.
It is.
Because I know for you this must be the most exciting part of the year. For me, the most exciting part of the year is like the September to November time when all the like the more independent films that are probably going to start getting into like Oscar territory start coming out. So that's the more exciting part of the year for me. But there are a lot of exciting movies coming out this blockbuster season, namely Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning.
Right.
Which
I
comes
knew
out
it.
at the end of this month. Yeah. But I will say, because of all the hype that's been around it, my cinema is also finally putting on Sinners. So I'm seeing that next
Oh.
Make
Oh, you haven't seen it
Yeah, I
yet?
can't wait to
'Cause
watch
I've
it
been-
this week, yeah.
I have been wanting to watch it for ages, but I've been a bit strapped on cash.
Yeah.
And I the only way it was available to me was if I had traveled like at least 20 minutes somewhere and could only see it in an evening showing and all of these bits and pieces. But they're showing it at my cinema where I have a membership, so I got the ticket for free.
Cool.
Nice.
Which is good for me, and also I get to sit in my favorite seat in my favorite screen
I'm glad to hear that.
That's the best.
at my cinema. So I am very excited about it because it's basically the only thing my feed has been talking about for the past 2 weeks.
It is very good. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, outside of that, very much looking forward to Mission Impossible. Obviously, that is my. But like that's so soon. I'm like, I still can't quite believe it's coming out in May.
And it's
Yeah.
the final one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, probably.
Okay.
They've
Never
been
say
very
never.
cagey about that fact.
Kind of like how John
Never
Wick
say
4
never.
was supposed to be the final John Wick, and now they're making John Wick 5. And yeah.
It's up in the debate. The thing that is up in the air is whether or not it will be Ethan Hunt if they make another Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
And if they do, it will likely not be Chris McQuarrie and Tom Cruise that pairing again. I think this is the end of that sort of like them two working on these movies in that way. I don't think you could stop them working together at all because I think that they found it's very much I found a guy that matches my freak with the two of them.
Yeah.
But I do think that the two of them are like we're done. Like I reckon that I wouldn't put it past Tom Cruise to produce another Mission Impossible movie. Whether he's going to be in it is like that's the thing that's up in the air.
Sure.
Plus, it's very likely that Ethan Hunt is going to die in this one, but we're really not sure.
Yeah, might as well. I don't know.
Really?
I don't like Mission Impossible still.
I could tell.
Okay. Movies are-
Well, I have a whole fucking list. Well, my boy, Stitch is coming, so I am very excited for Lilo and Stitch.
It's so funny because that comes out the same day as Mission Impossible, and I'm like, why? I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry to Lilo and Stitch.
I'm
sorry
de-
to this man.
I'm definitely watching Lilo and Stitch because I just love Stitch. Stitch is the greatest, one of the greatest. And then the other adaptation that I am very much looking forward to, and now I am officially tattooed by it, is How to Train Your Dragon is coming out, and I am super, super excited because the early screening that they did at CinemaCon did really, really well. And the fact that Dean DeBois is back to do it as well, yeah, I have high hopes. The dragons look fucking amazing, so I'm like very much looking forward to it. But I am a creature of habit, and as much as I was disappointed in Dominion, I can't wait to watch the new Jurassic World still. So that's
so true.
that's the biggie. That's the biggie for me because I just love dinosaurs. I always liked the Jurassic franchise. They
and
have
Jonathan Bailey.
They have
Yeah,
Scarlett
good old
Johansson
Jonathan.
and Jonathan Bailey in it, so I will definitely be seated for Jurassic World. That's 100%. So yeah, that's gonna be cinema season for Lily because I've been lacking this year. I've been very much
so
lacking.
Have I actually. I've only been to the cinema 3 times this year,
Twice.
which is significantly down from last year. But
Yeah.
that's also just there was a financial thing involved in that part as well. But also, there's been nothing on at my cinema, like
Same.
really at all.
Yeah, same. I'm like, I've been, to be fair, I'm still in the phase where I'm like, I think I'm starting to get a little bit of fatigue of movies and repetition. I think that's one of the biggest problems nowadays. That I was always proud in the early days of this new era of my life, I guess, that I am finally able to figure out stuff before it happens, because I was never really good at picking up on clues until I realized that I am only able to do this now because I've seen so many things. And unfortunately, movies are now becoming so fucking predictable that even I am able to pick up on what's about to happen. And I don't think I like that. I don't think I am vibing with this new trend of like, just let's grab something that worked in the past and let's repeat. So I'm actually like looking for weird movies now where I'm like, the fuck is this?
Think, if I may be kind but frank, that might be a you problem.
I don't think so.
I think that has been a thing in storytelling for a long, long time. Because, the only way that I've been able to pick up on things previously is because I've watched enough stuff to understand the nature of how storytelling is working. And I think you've just
but I'm not talking about the way storytelling is working. Is that I am noticing that we are picking up on trends. So a lot of movies follow like a certain formula. Where it's like, this worked for them, so we're gonna do the same thing and maybe change a little bit. It's like, the same kind of things of like, oh, the killer was the secret twin sister all the time and you should have seen this coming, or oh, the monster is actually not a monster but a man, and I'm like, fuck right off. So
I'm just of the opinion that has been the case in all cinema always, that because just like we get into like people will recognize when something works really well and when audiences respond to something and they go, well, we'll make more of that thing, and that has been the case. It's just that I think it's happening way more in your sphere of influence. As in, like, it's happening more in the stuff that you're more likely to go towards right now.
I think that when they just grab basic things, like just basic things of what worked before, like we know that the formula of like having two strangers, preferably an old man and a little girl, bonding over things, that works, but still giving them a different story that we've seen 100 times over and over. That's different. That's a bit different. Like but then when we just grab something and just completely use it over and over again, and we're getting the same twists and the same scares, the same jokes, the same this and that, I'm like, really?
Are you kind of talking about like the Marvelization of cinema? in
I
some
was
ways.
going to say this is the Marvel issue. This
Yeah.
is what Marvel's been doing for the past like especially in the past 5 years since Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were doing it before, but it's worse now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fatigue is real. I am still like, I am even worried about currently about Sinners because I'm watching it hopefully this week. And I'm a bit worried that it got so hyped up. I didn't watch any of the trailers because I don't want
Yeah, I
to know.
Don't know anything about it really,
Yeah.
which is what I'm having, which I'm quite excited about.
Yeah.
I don't want to know anything at all.
I won't tell you anything. I can say that I think in a lot of ways the hype was really well deserved, and there were a lot of moments when I couldn't predict where it was going. So
That's good news, but yeah, I don't know. I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes sign and I was like, it's really high, which means that it's already unknowingly. I'm like, okay, so this is getting very high ratings. It must be good, and I am already a bit afraid that I'm gonna go in. I have this image, I guess, in my head that it's gonna be this and that, which I really can have because I literally didn't watch anything about it, and I'm a bit afraid that I'm gonna get disappointed again. I'm a bit afraid. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's been happening a lot lately. Like I have this little notebook where I put down the things that I am watching, and I'm noticing a very big decline of my ratings where I was always the big cheery person and just giving everything a 4 and a 5 and da 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 da, and now it's like 3, 2, or my favorite didn't even finish. I'm turning off things. Me who's always watching things. I'm like, nope, and just turning it off. It's really tiring. I
it's
don't
kind
know
of like
what's
movie
going on.
burnout in some ways.
I just, yeah, my big thing with something like this where it has been so hyped, because I remember being so scared about seeing Parasite because of this reason, because it had been like by the time I had managed to get to see it, it was February, and all the hype had started in like October of the previous year, and it was like the first time I was actually able to go see it, and I was really worried that I was going to hate it. It's part of the reason I've never watched Paddington, because
so
I know that
good.
people love. This is the thing, everybody loves Paddington,
so
but
good.
there's a huge part of me that's terrified that for some reason I'm going to hate it.
Well, if you did,
Even though that's probably not going to happen.
No.
if you did,
But like,
you know,
it's too scary to go near right now. Like it's like it's still. But the thing about, I think what was nice about Parasite was that even though I thought I knew where it was going, it still managed to have it was that third. Like, I thought I knew where the movie ended, and then I was kind of disappointed by that fact, and it gave me more, and it actually ended on a really good space, and I was like, oh, I understand now. This movie fucks.
yeah, without spoiling anything, I would say Sinners is kind of similar to that in some ways. Yeah, there's some elements that feel a bit cliche, and then it twists, and you're like, oh, it's not anymore. It's. Do you guys ever watch SNL? When
Yeah.
Oh God!
Depends
Oh
on
bloody
the-
hell! What's his name? The actor who is in Barry. Completely blanking on
Bill
his name.
Hader.
Bill Hader with Stefan, his whole character. This movie has everything, like that type of thing. That's kind of what Sinners
I
is
do
like.
love Stefan.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. So I think actually from what I've my friends have felt pretty similar, that it's what you're saying, what you felt with Parasite, even though it's obviously very different movies and different themes.
Yeah,
It's equatable in some ways.
that's cool. What I like to do in a movie that's like really intense like that is to have that feeling of doubt on top of me, just so that I'm not hyping it up for myself. So that I'm going, there is a possibility that for whatever reason I might not enjoy this, and that might be a me problem. So that when I'm going in, the hope is that will get dashed, or I'll go, well, yeah, I guess I was right. So that I'm not actively disappointed, and I'm more likely to be very surprised and happy about the outcome instead.
I mean, that's the best possible option at the end of the day.
It's the mentality. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I hope for the best, but like, holding on to that feeling of every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
I think it
Okay.
leads,
So these.
it leads to the best thing.
Yeah.
I also wanted to point out the other big thing for June is obviously 28 years later,
Right.
because
Yes, I'm not
Just-
gonna
just
lie.
put it up.
My excitement for it went down a little bit.
Because I told you that Cillian Murphy's not in it.
Yeah,
He's not in it at all.
no,
He's not in it.
Why?
He's produced it, and he's like, there's going to be like 3 movies. It's like the first of, it's like the final in a trilogy and then the first in a new trilogy at the same time. So they're doing 3 28 years later movies. And he's likely to be in one of the other ones. But
So
we did this
disappointing.
right at the beginning of the year, and Lily was so mad.
I'm still really mad about that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that trailer is fucking amazing, but like, what? You literally said that Killian is going to be in it, and now he's not. And I'm like, fuck you all.
I do think that was a quote that got like perpetrated, perpetuated from what was probably an unreliable source.
I don't know, but still
'Cause it
very
happens.
disappointing.
It does happen, which is why I'm always so worried when like people say things. I'm like, where'd you get that from? Who said that? Who put it out there?
Who's your source?
I don't believe you. Exactly. And more people should be asking this question.
Yeah.
That's an entirely different topic. I don't have anything to transition to.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yes.
I was going to ask,
Yeah?
are we still talking about movies? Or I was going to ask, what shows have you guys been watching, out of curiosity?
Well, that would be probably the next thing. What have we been watching the past little while? Because that is where we're at now.
Yeah.
There we go. What have you guys been watching the last little while? Hey, guys, what have you been watching recently?
I think Lily should start first because she went last time.
Oh, what have I been watching?
What have you been watching?
Not much.
Okay.
Still. Again,
Right. Thanks for the.
You're welcome,
Katie.
I'm still in a fatigue mode. So
Yeah.
I'm currently, I still have to watch the season finale, because I just couldn't start. And I was very excited for it, but I still don't know what happens to Joe. So I need to get into that. What the fuck? What the? Oh. Did I talk about this last time, or did I not talk
don't
about
know.
this last time? Karma, which is a Korean miniseries that came out on Netflix. That was the only thing that I binge watched, and it was really fucking good. It's 6 episodes.
I can't remember.
Okay, so Karma is a 6-episode Korean series on Netflix. So please go and watch it. It's available, and it's about how people's lives get tangled, even though none of them know each other. But through the magic of karma, some really fucked up shit is happening, and to some really fucked up people. To be fair, and that's no spoilers there. So it's safe. It's a safe information. I highly recommend it. It literally is. I think I could binge watch it because it was only 6 episodes and it was very well paced as well. I really, really enjoyed that one. And then to be fair, same old as I've been doing. So we obviously watched. I still haven't watched the last episode of Daredevil.
Do you know? I forgot you weren't with us.
I'm very forgettable.
Oh,
No,
no.
it's more that. No, it's kind of the opposite of that. I forgot that you're so in my brain about that sort of a thing that I forgot you weren't with us in that last episode.
Nope. I still haven't watched it.
I've written you into my memories.
It's even more inclusive. That's lovely.
I like that. I like to be in people's head. In a creepy way. No, I'm just...
Yeah.
Or am I? So, still haven't watched Daredevil, the end of Daredevil. I'm watching currently The Last of Us, obviously, because we're making a podcast about it on Couch Soup. Watch that as well. And I was a bit enraged by the fact that the only episode I missed this season to talk about is the...
Kind of the huge episode.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Yeah, and it's the episode I've been looking forward to the most because fuck you guys.
Okay, say this.
Yeah. Not because of that. It's because of the horde. Like I was like,
Of course. That. To be fair, that makes a lot of sense for you.
yeah, it does. I still very much enjoyed it, but fuck's sake, of course I missed that one. So The Last of Us. We've been watching Adventure Time still because it's a lot of fucking episodes. It's really good. Like I now own Adventure Time socks and Adventure Time T-shirt, and I will and
the brainworms,
the brainworms, and I will soon own Adventure Time hat. So it's nothing extreme, really. So that's
Not
still
at all.
going.
You're not a fan or anything. No.
No. What's Adventure Time?
I love getting into something 15 years after it ended.
Yeah.
Or it started.
Fun times. And then we started watching, is me and my lovely boyfriend, Full Metal Alchemist, which I
I
haven't.
love Full Metal Alchemist.
There you go. So
I have my Full Metal Alchemist DVDs are up there. I bought it's technically it's Brotherhood. Are you watching
Brotherhood.
Full Metal Alchemist, or are you watching Brotherhood?
Brotherhood.
I watched Full Metal Alchemist, and then I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. There's really no need to do that because Brotherhood is better, but I'm a completionist, so it's one of the 5 animes that I have watched in its entirety.
Fair. That's fair. I really, really enjoy it, but I nearly quit. I was like, I told my boyfriend.
Is it early on?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the early parts is probably the hardest bit to get through. It gets really fucking good, though.
No. It wasn't because I didn't enjoy it. It was because of Hughes. I was like...
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
You fucking assholes. Like, I was literally screaming at the TV. I was like, you fucking assholes. So I was like, I'm not watching this.
Another one bit by the Maze Hughes. Untimely death.
I'm not watching this, but we did watch it. We're still watching it. We're at episode 23 or something like that. So yeah, that's literally about it. Again, I'm still fatigued. I still trying to find new things that I can enjoy.
Did you start Andor?
No, I want to watch the entire thing together.
All right.
So that's it. So I can't share anything else because that's all I watched.
Oh, okay. I'm going to point to Brian next because if I start talking,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think we can get any further.
Brian, go on.
I'm watching a lot of theater recently, so watching a lot of National Theater Live, which is probably not what our podcast viewers...
No, please do. I love talking about the theatre.
Been watching a lot of... I watched Vanya again on National Theater. I showed my family because they were curious about it. That's Andrew Scott's Vanya, directed by Simon Stevens and directed by Sam Yates. And going to probably tuck into some present laughter tonight, so I'm excited about that. I've just been trying to if I could talk, I would say I've been trying to catch up on a lot of the National Theater shows I haven't seen in the past that I've wanted to. So that's been quite exciting. But in terms of more mainstream stuff, watched all of Daredevil, Born Again, have a lot of...
actually, because we haven't had a lot of time to talk about Daredevil here, because we've been talking about it over on Couch. What are your thoughts on Daredevil?
So, I'm a big fan of the original 3-season arc. I love what Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio... I love all the actors in that show. I think all the characters are so interesting. I love the dynamic between Karen and Matt and Foggy. I thought this was just kind of a watered-down version of Daredevil. It felt like it I mean, I know there's so much that went into the whole trying to reboot it, because I know it was supposed to be a different show. It was supposed to be Daredevil Attorneys at Law, I think, or Matt Murdock Attorneys at Law, something like that. And then it was supposed to be like 16 episodes, and then they cut a bunch of that to make it more, because it was supposed to be a separate almost like, I think, multiverse variant of Daredevil, which was silly. And then they went back and scrapped a bunch of episodes, and then they tried to retcon, like bring it back to the original series. So it feels like a Frankenstein, like like kind of like this weird glued together version of Daredevil in a lot of ways. There's a lot of moments I like, and a lot of it just feels like fan service, and a lot of moments that don't feel like it goes anywhere. I think if I hadn't been watching the original series in preparation for this, I'd be more happy with what we got. But I think in comparison, every episode of the original series, especially season 1 and 3, are bangers. And I think season 3 might be the best superhero content I've ever seen.
That is what I've been saying. Season 3 of Daredevil is a masterpiece.
And it's yes, it is. And it's, I mean, you have Nadeem, who's a great character.
Oh, love
You know,
Nadeem.
there's just so many interesting plots and emotional beats, and it's not just about action and plot. And, you know, it's so hard to go from the amazing, incredible, true one-shot of season 3 in the prison to this cut, edited CGI fest of the opening of season 4, Born Again, I guess, whatever you want to call it, season 1 of Born Again. I think it is what it is, and I'll keep watching it, but it didn't really do anything for me. It didn't feel satisfying to me.
Yeah, we have had a lot of conversations, because I was the one, you know, truly surprisingly to everybody, including myself, that was the most enjoying it the most, at least a bit at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then episode 7 was shit. And then we kind of entered into a space where, like, we kind of agreed on the basic, the vague sort of, like, the things that worked really well about episodes 8 and 9, but we were able to, like, see a bit more of... I found myself trying to defend it way more in the early parts. And then I think we kind of leveled out in terms of, like, criticism by the end of it. I think we got to a nice little balanced place.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't there for episode 8, I had a lot of notes on it where I was like, oh my god, this one's so much better than the last one was, Jesus Christ. But you're not wrong about the fights. They were sloppy. Why is the editing so bad?
It's going back to, like, Taken editing, you know, like that famous shot where he's, like, running over the gates, like 17.
Good.
No, it's not. And obviously they didn't have the same choreographer from the original show.
No.
The cinematography...
Well, we're getting him back in season 2, which is good.
That's good, but will we have the same cinematography? I mean, the thing is, like, I think someone once... I was watching a video essay recently before Born Again came out, and they said what made, in their mind, Daredevil so cool, aside from the great writing and the acting and, you know, obviously the things that are really apparent, is the cinematography. It felt like Daredevil was like the 7 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a lot of ways. With how it was shot, it was gritty.
Right.
It was very 7 David Fincher's. It was very
dark.
The movie. Yeah,
I was
not the number.
I was thinking about. I was like, was there like a Marvel thing that I don't know of that's called the 7? And
no, yes, I could have led with David
the
Fincher's
movie 7. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's gritty. It's dark. It's things that feel grungy and lived in. Whereas this just feels so polished and clean. It feels like there's a layer of soap that's almost been like washed over everything, and to me it doesn't feel consistent, and it doesn't feel lived in that way to me. So
no, I think you're so right about that. If you want to hear more of our very specific thoughts on Daredevil, all of the episodes of Daredevil watching now are available now on Couch Soup. I'm in them, which is a fun new development. I will also be over there talking about Andor when the season finishes as well, which is nice because obviously I have a lot of thoughts on Andor, which you can watch our first season recap or like review of on this channel. Yeah,
correct.
Good stuff.
And then
Correct.
What else have you been watching?
the other thing, the main thing is Last of Us season 2.
Yes.
Or, part 2, season 2. Yeah, and I don't know.
What do you think?
How far into? We can't spoil big things, I assume. I'm guessing.
I haven't seen any of it, but I have played the game. I think it's fine to spoil what's happened so far,
spoilers
to be
ahead.
honest with you. I don't really care that much.
Okay. Okay.
There's a reason I haven't really gotten into it, and it is emotional unreadiness.
Yeah, I understand that. I totally do. So, spoilers for any non-game players of The Last of Us Part 2. I thought most of Joel's death was really well done. I don't like how they introduced Abby right off the bat.
I don't agree. No,
I you disagree with me? Okay, cool. Nice. So that'll be a fun conversation. I dislike that greatly. I dislike how they've introduced the Sarah fights right off the bat too. I feel like it's a watered down version of what a lot of themes were of The Last of Us 2, which is people are complicated. You may not see that right away. You have to get to know people to understand what's driving them. It feels like right now they're like, well, see, everyone's a good person. And to me, I don't think it's challenging. I think it's a way of softening the blows, literally and figuratively, for the audience. And
I do think that doing that for Caitlin and Abby is kind of important, just because of how much shit Laura got
Laura Bailey, yes,
for doing it
who played
in the
Abby
game.
Yeah.
In the game, because I mean, it's well documented just how
Yep.
fucked the reaction was to Laura Bailey after that game came out.
Yeah.
Because people didn't get any further and they just went fuck this person in particular, and people for whatever reason can't tell the difference between an actor and their part.
Yeah.
Has been the way for a long time, so I can understand the thought process behind giving her a little bit more context a little bit earlier on.
Me too. I think because you haven't seen any of the show yet, right?
I haven't watched it, any of season 2 yet,
Okay.
but yeah, it's fine.
Yes,
I don't care.
So when I say I don't like the introduction, I do like her intro in the beginning of episode 1. I don't like what they did with her beginning of episode 2, and I don't like a lot of her dialogue. I think it was very established who she was, why she was doing what she did. I wish some of the reveals came later on. That's more what I'm talking about. I think they did enough to be like, oh, this is a person who's hurting in the first episode. That makes sense. We're kind of on board with her already. Episode 2 was like, it felt like, again, and I understand the minutia and the nuance of what happened with Laura Bailey, so I completely empathize with that. But it feels like it almost went too far in one direction. To me.
Sorry, I'm laughing because Lily's got
I
a
know.
look on her face.
I see her
absolute
face.
disgust.
Yeah. And then I didn't like the last episode at all. It just felt a bit meandery. I don't know. There's just, it feels like for 7 episodes they've really slowed down, and there's so much more content, emotional content they could be not pulling out, but going towards between characters. I'm being kind of vague on purpose. Thoughts?
Okay,
Lily?
it's time for Lily's rebuttal. Go.
I don't know what's happening because I was famously the very, very salty one with season 1.
Yeah, I love season 1.
I fucking hated it. No,
Yeah,
that's not true. But
That's not true.
That's not true. But there were parts that really, really annoyed me. Like it annoyed me so much that I wrote an article a year later and explained why a lot of things didn't work and why I didn't agree with changes. So throughout the Rest of Us that we did, which is the watching now for The Last of Us, I was very, very salty. And now the tables have tabled. And Erica and Nick are the same as you now. And I'm just sitting here like, the fuck is going on? Like, what are you talking about? First of all, what I came to realize, especially in this case, where The Last of Us Part 2 cannot be done the same way as it was in the video game. I think that's very, very,
not.
very clear.
Sure.
First. Second, I think they are doing a fucking great job turning that into TV. Because what I think a lot of people forget is that, yes, there are a lot of us gamers who play the game who are watching this, but the majority is people who have not played the games and have no idea about, like, you know, what is going to happen. Abby's introduction is fucking great. And Caitlin Dever convinced me that she's Abby in the first fucking second when I saw her. I was like, yep, that's Abby. For me, she was perfect casting. But yeah, about these whole, like, you know, because it's this 3rd episode now. We just had the conversation yesterday. And Owen and Nick said the exact same thing that you did now, that it was boring and it was too slow and whatnot. And I'm like, do you really not see what they're doing? Because what they're doing is, yes, in the game, you immediately go into rage mode with Ellie. You are going after the killers of Joel immediately, but that's a game. That's a game. Ellie got hurt really, really badly during that unfortunate event. I think the series very well established it in the first season that this is a more realistic approach. If you get hurt like this, yeah, you're not going to immediately stand up, and it wouldn't be realistic either. So the time jump for me made sense. And I think what they're doing very well is that this is a pretense from Ellie of like, yeah, I'm just sad that I lost my father figure, but there's anger there. And I think what they're going to do with it is that they're going to build it up into this full-blown rage by the end of the season. And I think that the season will finish with Ellie killing Nora, because that was the big turning point in the game where, she so mercilessly murdered that woman. And you just see her in the game and you have to hit that square. And that's a very hard part for even the gamers. And I think that's going to be the ending, because we all know that they're not going to do the entire part 2 in just season 2.
No.
No, but there was a lot of game after that point.
Yeah, that's only day 2. I think, is it? Or is it? Yeah, it's day 2.
That's day
I think,
2.
of Seattle.
Yeah.
They have,
not. It's really.
They have to get to the end,
I think-
imagine.
No,
of
they
day
won't.
3. Why? Why
I-
do you say that?
And because there are 4 episodes left. They're not going to get to the end.
Well, this is the
They're
thing.
only doing 7 episodes in this season.
There's
It's
7
7
episodes. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
shite. That's the thing. This is the thing. It feels like they're artificially slowing things down. Okay, I do understand your points, and I within the context of the story, it makes sense. They didn't have to injure Ellie grievously, though, in the way that they did.
But
It's like-
she got injured in the game as well. But in the game, because it is a game, you stand up and go on.
yeah,
gets
got-
kicked
she
the
got-
same
time
way.
jump.
She gets knocked out in the game.
No, but she gets like a really big blow in her tummy when Manny kicks her in
Yeah,
the game
but
as well.
there's never any mention. She's that night, or it's the night after
that's
she's
the
sitting in
thing,
her
but
bed
it's-
and she sees Tommy.
I think
I'm
the point is that they're showing a level of like build up.
Yes.
Ye-
I'm guessing to
yeah.
some of the other stuff that we didn't actually see with Ellie in the game. We went from the death of Joel to time jump. There was a time jump. There was a small time jump where she recovered from that. We didn't see that recovery.
Sure.
And then she had made the decision to go.
Yeah. So I'm
I
like,
don't know. I'm saying shit, but I haven't watched any of it.
Yeah.
no, but
fair enough.
yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's like it happens in the game as well, but in the game, because it is a game, they're not gonna do like, okay, we are grieving now part. That's not gonna happen, because we have to keep a quicker pace in a game than in a TV show. And I think
It is an interesting idea to go as opposed to going from, because game has to have enough momentum to us so that we're not just sitting around, Bella Swan style watching the seasons go by. In that, like, there's like almost, I'm guessing, an implied like depressive period before she gets to unbelievable anger.
I think that's what they're building at. I think it was, for me, it was so well done how you can see, and Bella Ramsey is like, hats off. You can see that
Yeah, so good.
she's really holding back. Like, Ellie is just like, I'm not gonna explode now. Fuck these people. By the way, I think that thought is definitely there. But yeah, I'm keeping my composure. I have to be this. I'm just sad. It's not about revenge. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, in her head, she's like, let's go, let's fucking go. And it's there. It's there. It's just not in your face there. It's not the constant rage of like, oh, I have to go and blah, 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 blah. And I think it's gonna be a much better payoff when we get there, because at the end of the day, Ellie here is still a child in a way, just a teenager.
She's 19.
Yeah.
Yet.
But yeah.
But let's be fair, like at 19,
Yeah,
there
19-year-olds are still
Yeah.
children in many ways.
yes, and
Absolutely.
I don't think a lot of people realize that at 19, the thing she does in part 2,
Horrifying.
horrifying. And I think they need to build this up like this in the series, because I don't think they're going to shy away from anything. I don't think they're going to shy away from anything in this,
We'll see.
adaptation.
I don't know.
The only thing, the only discourse that I've seen is a lot of people suggesting that they've somehow cut out the scene on the porch that happens at the end of the game.
Yes.
Because from what I've heard, she like denies that it happened. Basically, she
Yes.
kind of lies about it. But like, there's so much like obvious build up to the fact that it absolutely did happen, and then like the guitar is in Ellie's place, and they show her going to his house, I believe.
Yeah, and then she
So it's like,
stops and
yeah,
walks
it happened,
past.
but she's lying about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. She does go to his house. Yes, like in the game. That was a beautiful sequence. Bella Ramsey did a fantastic
But
job.
like, there's people trying to suggest that like they've decided to cut that entire sequence from the show.
no.
But I'm like, it's kind of, from what I've heard, it's implied that it happened anyway. But
Yeah.
she's revising events.
Yeah, precisely. And also, if you guys listen to the official Last of Us podcast with Craig Mason, Neil Druckmann, and Troy Baker, do you want me to tell you? Oh, yeah, well.
Tell us anyway,
Well,
but like,
'cause
I'm not listening.
I think I probably know why. But Craig Mason, at one point I always find it interesting to hear why they change things, what their insights are. And he's like, and she says that was the last conversation she had with him, was that the fight in the dance hall. And I don't know if I believe her. He's like, he's obviously leading it to be like, yeah. So it's confirmed, but he's just he's playing coy. So
He's paying for
Yeah.
it. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't have it in me to watch it right now.
Fair.
Like when it came back, I sat there and I kind of looked at it for a while and I just went, no,
yeah.
no.
I mean, to be fair, Joel's death it hit me harder, and probably just because Pedro is Pedro, and
Because it's Pedro.
Yeah, and there was something, I won't say what happens because I think that is a pretty important thing to see. There's a change after his death.
No, I did see a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not been shying away from anything because I'm like, well, I know what the game did, so
Okay.
I'm not really that fussed about like specific spoilers. But it's the fact that she kind of crawls on top of him, right?
I started crying, and like I never cried when Joel died in the game. It always came later in the flashbacks. For whatever reason, it was always shocking. And whenever I watch it, it upsets me, but never in like a emotional way. It's more of like, well, in an emotional way, not in this brings me to tears. It's more of like a visceral way. But this one did. This was like very upsetting seeing essentially a father die and the daughter. It's kind of like that Mufasa Simba thing, a little bit from Lion King, and that really got to me. I thought that was there's a crane shot that's really beautiful that shows them. So yeah.
Yeah, put it this way: I've replayed the first game so many times, like dozens of times. I played The Last of Us Part 2 once when it came out, and I have not touched it since.
It's my favorite of the two.
Same.
Yeah.
I can't. It's too heavy
Yeah.
for me. I got something out of it playing it, and I found it really interesting writing exercise, if anything, because I do think it's flawed, but only because it was so complicated. Like to me, it looks like the best version of that thing that could have been in that sort of format, if that makes sense. But I can also look at it and go, this feels like a piece of writing where everybody involved had a lot of trouble trying to figure out exactly how they wanted these events to take place. Like there's like struggle within it to me. That's what it feels like. Where it was like, we're not sure if we're going too far in places. Are we pushing characters to a place where it's like too much? How do we pull it back again? And I think in many ways it works very well, but there's such hard decisions to make for characters that are so well loved that I'm always a little like, I struggle a little bit with it as a concept, and as a piece of like storytelling. It's just not the type of thing that I get a lot of enjoyment out of. It's very much, whereas I get enjoyment out of playing the first game, even though it's sad, you know. So yeah, I just don't have it in me to do that right now.
Very fair.
Maybe at some point if I can bring myself to doing it. But also my brain is very full of something else right now. If I may pivot.
Oh, please do.
Pivot time. Since the ending of The Pit a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I still haven't finished
needed
that
something-
either.
You haven't finished The Pit?
No.
Lily!
Sorry.
The Pit's so good. And I miss it every week. I miss them. Although in the final episode, I spent the entire time going, Robbie, go home. Leave. Get out of here. I'm begging you. Go home. God, it's such a good fucking show. And I reawakened the medical drama love in me that was sort of born with watching House as a kid. And I started watching ER, and that is all I have been doing for the past month. Not entirely true. I have also taken small breaks to watch Leverage Redemption because I had to catch up on that So I went from Noah Wyle being very depressed in the pit to baby Noah Wyle in ER, and then, actually, I need a bit of a break from ER. I'm going to go watch Noah Wyle be insane and Leverage.
Which was filmed here in Portland, Leverage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Leverage. Leverage is fun because it's just silly, and it's very fun watching these people to be frankly insane. But yeah, I have only been watching, so I started watching ER. It was on 4 on demand. It's called I think it's just Channel 4, but like in my head it's still 4OD. And then I got sick of all of the ads, and I was like, man, I wish I could just buy the box set. And then somebody pointed out that I could get it secondhand for 22 quid.
Nice.
So now I have all 15 seasons on DVD. And I'm now on season 7. So many things have happened. I love Carter, even if I want to smack him a lot of the time, because he has a real habit of lying to people about everything for no reason. That boy. But yeah, it's going well. We've hit like the 2000s era where suddenly the entire like visual language of the show has changed. Just with the new millennium. And I'm like, okay, we're getting to a point where everything's starting to feel very, very different. And I know that there's like a real, for a lot of people, that sort of spot between 12 and 15 is just rough. But I am, when it comes to complete TV shows, a bit of completionist, and I feel the need to watch every episode just so I can say that I have in fact seen them all, even if I'm having real trouble with them. So I don't have any brain space for anything else at the moment.
Fair. Just
no, I don't have the brain space to do anything but engage with ER. Speaking of getting into things several years late, 3 decades later. And I'm surprised that, it is very interesting watching it, because it's so funny to me how, like, it's truly peak network television. It has all of the issues that I have with any US network television show, that like long-running US network television show, where I'm like, the shortcuts in writing, where like certain characters will just do things for the sake of plot, and like because of like huge writers' rooms, some of the characters start getting really inconsistent, like character storylines and whatnot, and something will turn up for like 5 episodes, and you'll be like, what the fuck is this thing that I'm watching? And then it will be never mentioned again. Which, like, sometimes it's like good, because like that didn't make any sense for you to put this in here in the first place, but other times you're like, I feel like you should follow up on that, actually. That was a pretty big thing that is just not being mentioned anymore. And there are certain characters that are written to be like combative and annoying to like our main characters in a way that is just sort of like, that feels misogynistic to me, because it's usually women. Certain female characters who are there just to be like completely unreasonable to certain male characters because they exist as love interests, and I'm like, that ain't it, chief, that ain't it. But it is so funny because I'm watching it like, this is a fine show. I can see why it was probably popular at the time, but like for the most part, like, it's just okay. But then you get to certain episodes and you're like, now that's some good fucking television. Like I would say like 90% of it is like, this is just a pretty run-of-the-mill medical drama. A good one, but like, it's pretty run-of-the-mill. And then you get episodes like Love's Labour Lost in the first season, where it's got Bradley Whitford in it. Mark Green tries to deliver a baby, and it just like slowly goes more and more wrong over the course of like this shift, and then eventually the mother dies. And it's like watching it is awful, because it is just the most heartbreaking thing you could possibly imagine, because it's just like watching a car crash, but it is fantastic television. But then you'll go like a season without anything like that, and then suddenly you'll get like another one where you're like, no, that was a good, like the episode where George Clooney as Doug Ross saves a kid from a storm drain, which like kind of made George Clooney a movie star. And you're like, now that was a good piece of television. And then you'll go like another 20 episodes without seeing anything like that again. So it's like, I haven't watched a show this long with this many like, it's been a test of endurance for me, like trying to like pace myself through it, because usually with something like this I am like so in it that I can watch most of a season in a day. But I have paced myself a lot more with this than I have in the past. Like when I watched The West Wing, which was 7 seasons, I did that in just under 2 weeks, which was insane of me. But don't mind, it was COVID, and I had nothing else to do with my time. Granted, don't really have a whole lot to do with my time at the moment, but that's a different story. It's why I've been able to get to season 7 in a month at this point. But you know, I have had bits and pieces of other things to do. But I'm having a good time with it. It's been nice to have like this one thing to do a lot of. I just like what I love finding an actor and going, I'm going to watch your entire filmography.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a while where the actor's entire filmography has actually just been mostly television. It's like they've done multiple television shows with lots of episodes, because usually it's like they were in a TV show, but like most of the stuff they've done are movies, so I can jump in and watch a movie and jump in and watch a movie and jump in and watch a movie, and you can kind of be done with that. Thing is, I am likely to be moving on to Falling Skies next if this hyperfixation doesn't wean away by the time I get to the end of ER.
Fair enough.
Because I love Noah Wiley.
I met him. He's a really nice
he's
guy.
great. He's great.
Really?
I met him on a set of. He was on Librarians, I think, for a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. And
that would make sense.
Yeah, and I was like a featured extra, background extra, and we had a conversation. He was really nice because I love Donnie Darko, and so we chatted about that, and he's just a really sweet guy. So, yeah.
Well, because I was also planning on maybe going through the Librarian movies, because just for cheese, you know, who doesn't love cheese? And like every time I'm like, I might watch the Librarians, my mum looked at me and went, "It's bad."
You're like, I know.
And I'm like, yeah, but that's fun, you know? And it's nice to see him be like a very silly, goofy guy. But if that is the case, I may have to go through and just specifically see if I can figure out where you are in it.
If you can find me, yeah. I think I'm in the swim.
Well, if
team.
you're a featured extra,
yeah, I was in the swim team. So there you go.
Oh,
at some point we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have many episodes of ER still to get through. Like I said, I'm on season 7. There were 15 seasons of this show.
Yeah.
I am just about halfway through.
Jesus Christ.
And I spend my time wondering if my brain is normal. It's moments like these I go, yes, I could use this as evidence. It's like, have you spent excessive amounts of time watching the entire filmography of a certain actor?
I think,
including 15 seasons of a well-beloved show from 30 years ago.
That's a commitment, to be fair. But I know a lot of, because I'm in the acting world. I know a lot of actors who, go down. Like my friend just recently watched all of the Jake Gyllenhaal stuff that they could find. Within like the last
I did that
month.
a few years back.
Yeah, I think people who are in this industry, that's more common. In a lot of ways.
To be fair, that's true.
To normalize
I feel like that makes more sense
a little bit.
But like, I feel like that makes more sense if you're an actor. I'm not
Fair.
an actor. I just have an obsessive brain.
That's still normal.
You're on sets with actors sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. You can.
Not very often.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it happens in everyone's life, or a lot of people's life. Let's put it that way. Definitely happened to me. I think we could go around and ask people, have you ever been so obsessed with some actor or actress that you just had to go and watch everything that they've done? And the answer is probably going to be, yeah.
I think it depends on where you're asking.
You would be surprised. Even my mom did that once. And, my mom is like, she likes to watch things, but she never really gets into things because it's like, it's just, it was always a background noise. That's what she said. But yeah, I remember that she had a very particular phase. I don't remember who was the actor anymore. I'm not 100% sure, but it was like, so what's the next thing I can watch from them? And I was like, mother, why? And she was like, I don't know, he's just too good. And I was like, okay, sure. So you can never know. You
True.
can never know. You can never
I am going to right this second pressure you into watching the last episode of The Pit because it's some good fucking television, dude.
No. I will definitely finish The Pit. I just didn't have time. That's the thing. I just came home from Japan. I'm still not sure if I just streamed the whole thing or it was real. Something happened. I don't know. Maybe I did drugs. I don't know.
Well, there is photo evidence, so I feel like we can pretty safely say
That I was in
it did
Japan.
in fact
Yeah.
occur.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm still not fully here in my mind. I'm like, huh? Because we just planned it last week. How is it already over? You know, that's the kind of thing. But yeah, all right. I think this is our cue to close down this episode. We're gonna be back at the end of the next month or the beginning of the following month. We'll see when can we drop the episodes. And until then, subscribe. Watch our latest
We will
episodes.
see if I have managed to move on from ER and on to potentially Falling Skies.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be like it's gonna be 4 weeks, so anything can happen.
Yeah, we'll see at what pace I manage to go at, or if I completely lose steam and decide I need to completely switch gears.
Yeah.
That could also happen.
That could also happen.
There-
But
there is a fatigue.
we'll find out. We'll find out soon. So yeah, watch our episodes before this one, or you can head over to Couch Soup and check out whatever we have there. I have a bit more things there than Katie, but I think Katie's gonna slowly join in on the fun. But yeah, just be good. Watch movies. Subscribe, leave a comment, like everything that you can think of. And yeah, this was Katie, Brian, and me, Lily, talking about movies and shit and all that stuff.
Okay, Lily.
Yes.
Lily, you're
Yes.
you're meandering.
I am. Goodbye. Watch
Bye.
movies.
Watch movies.
Watch
Bye.
movies.
Goodbye.